Agency Transitional Committee. This is part of what the bill also seeks to do, to establish the Interagency Transitional Committee. And in this process, and in this particular bill, it indicates that it seeks to provide for the process to be followed by the county governments in the exercise of the power or of their power to impose, vary, or waive taxes, fees, and levies. In this case, fees include parking fees, market fee, health facility fee, or a license fee charged or imposed as a necessary condition for using a public facility or conducting a business. The bill also, or the Interagency Transitional Committee, will be established by the Cabinet Secretary. The tax means a compulsory payment that does not involve the use or derivation of direct benefits from services, regulation, or goods. And the county government, or clause 3 of this particular bill, indicates that the county government or a county government may not exercise its power in terms of Articles 209 or 210 of the Constitution to impose tax, levy, fee, or any other charge in a way that materially and unreasonably prejudices national economic policies, economic activities across county boundaries, or the national mobility of goods, services, capital, or labor. It also indicates that before imposing a tax, fee, levy, or any other charge, a county government shall follow various processes provided for in this particular law, that is, ensure compliance with the provisions of subsection 1 of this particular act, adhere to principles of consultation and cooperation, ensure compliance with the tariff and pricing policy, and where a fee is to be charged for a service, ensure that the fee does not exceed the cost of providing such service. So this is a bill that is coming up for first reading at the Senate this afternoon. The other bill that will also be read for the first time on the floor of the Senate this afternoon is the Business Laws Amendment Bill, a bill originating from the Senate and also sponsored by the Senate Majority Leader. This is a bill that seeks to amend various statutes so as to create a conducive environment for doing business. Some of the statutes that this particular bill amends include the Investment Promotions Act, Employment Act, the Land Act, the Anti-Counterfeit Act, Affordable Housing Act, and Occupational and Safety Health Act. This is a bill we shall be later taking a look at some of the sections that this bill will be amending in the various acts, as I had just read out them to you. But this is also a bill that is coming up for first reading before it proceeds to the next stage, committee and public participation and the other stages. However, some activity at the entrance of the Senate chambers, and that is the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Amason Jeffa Kingi, making his way into the chamber. The mess has already moved, was ahead of him, as is the procedure. And allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. Good afternoon.
Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, twakusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka sisi watumishi wako ambao mridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri hii yetu. Twakuomba utuajalie tuyatende na kufikia mambo yote atakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at Arms can ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
Well, the prayer has been said and the chair taken. But as you can see on your screens, it is clear that the House has not attained the required quorum, that is at least 15 senators. And from the numbers of the senators inside the chambers that we can see right now, and as indicated by the Speaker, that quorum bell is for the members who may be within the precincts of Parliament to make their way into the chamber, at least to allow the House raise that particular quorum, at least 15 senators, and this is as provided for in the House Standing Order number 39 and 40, that at the commencement of House business, at least 15 senators. Senator Miraj has just made her way into the chamber, or has just walked in. Busia Senator, nominated Senator Mutinda, Senator Chimera, they're making their way into the chambers. Remember, the quorum bell that is on is, of course, to alert the senators who may be within the precincts of Parliament that their presence inside the chamber is highly required to at least allow the House raise the required quorum for the business to be able to commence. If that quorum is present, the quorum of at least 15 senators, the House will be deemed to have not attained that quorum, and the bell will be on as directed for 10 minutes now. However, if that quorum is attained before the lapse of those 10 minutes, then the House will be called to order, of course, for the business of the day to commence. However, the standing orders proceed to indicate that if at the lapse of the first 10 minutes, the quorum is not raised, a further 10-minute bell will be on. At the lapse of the second 10-minute quorum bell, if the quorum is not attained, then the House may be adjourned or will be adjourned until the next sitting. However, we believe that that quorum will be attained and the House will commence its business as lined up for consideration, or the business that is lined up to be transacted this afternoon. And back to what the senators, as they convene for this plenary sitting, will be looking at, pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 53, paragraph 1, with regards to statements and questions. The Senator for Machakos County, Honorable Agnes Kavindu, will seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding the operations of the Social Health Authority, commonly referred to as SHA, being conducted by private individuals. The Honorable Senator for Machakos County will also seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget regarding alleged wastage and lack of prioritization of public resources in the county that she represents at the Senate, that is the Machakos County. Nominated Senator Crystal Asige also making her way into the chamber. If you're just joining us, is that the House is about to commence its business. However, at the commencement of the House business, as per the rules that guides the House, at least 15 senators shall be seated inside the chambers for the House to be deemed to have attained its quorum. We can see the Honorable Senator for Kakamega, who is also the majority whip, counting the numbers of the senators, or counting the senators who are already inside the chambers to see whether that quorum has been achieved. It is at this point that the whips of the House are required to whip the members to make their way into the chamber. So as we can see, the Honorable Senator has just made his way out to find out whether there are other senators who have not yet reached inside the chambers and just within the precincts of the Parliament. So if you're just joining us, that the House is about to commence its business. Once that quorum is achieved, then without any further delay, that business that is lined up for consideration this afternoon will commence. Pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 53, where members have an opportunity to seek for statements from various standing committee, the Senator for Marsabit County, Honorable Mohammed Chute, will seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing, and this is with regards to the construction of Korongo Road in Karen, Nairobi City County. The member for Marsabit County will also seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations. This is with regards to cases of foreign nationals working in Kenya's informal business sector. This statement is regarding the cases of foreign nationals working in the Kenya's informal business sector. These are statements that, as provided for in the House Standing Order number 53.1, these various members will require responses or will be seeking for responses on these concerns that they have raised from the various standing committees. The House is about to commence its business. The prayer has been said and the chair taken. As you can see, the speaker is already inside the chamber. However, the House has not raised the required quorum or has not quorated for it to be able to commence its business. Hence, the quorum bell that is currently on. It is a 10-minute quorum bell for members who are yet to make their way to the chambers, at least to hasten their steps and get to the chambers for the House to commence its business. The time allocated for the sitting is 2:30. It is now 2:42. And the House is yet to raise that particular quorum. Remember, if the House fails to raise that quorum as provided for in the House Standing Orders, then the sitting risks to be adjourned until the next sitting. However, we are hoping that that quorum has been achieved. We saw the majority whip make his way out of the chamber, of course, to be able to whip members to get into the House. That quorum is very crucial for the House or for the commencement of House business. And that is why you see, if it has not been attained, then the business cannot commence. Once that quorum is achieved, of course, the Speaker will call the House to order for the business to commence. But until then, we shall wait to see what happens and take a look at the business that is to be transacted. Speaking of the quorum, there are bills that this afternoon the members are set to go into division on this particular bill. And of course, you understand that at the division stage, the House has to have a certain quorum. Narok Senator Honorable Leda Molekina made his way into the chamber. More members making their way into the chamber. Nominated Senator Veronica, Senator Githuku, Senator Edwin Sifuna already making their way. So I believe that the quorum will have been achieved. And I will be in no time handing this business back to the proceedings of the House. We're just waiting for that particular confirmation. Senator Kinyua, Senator Wambua have also made their way into the chamber. I believe that the quorum has been raised, although that is the Deputy Speaker also, Senator Dan Manzo, also making their way into the chamber. It is without doubt that the quorum must have been achieved at this point. So we are just waiting for the Speaker to confirm that, and then the business will commence. The bell has actually stopped, but we understand that the House has attained that quorum. Once the Speaker begins to address the House, then I will hand these proceedings back to you to follow up on it. Of course, we're expecting a few communications from the Speaker. And we believe once the quorum Senator Kavindu also has made her way into the chamber. Remember, that particular quorum that we believe has been raised will also enable the House continue on its other businesses, especially the bills that will be considered at the division stage. This is the Public Fundraising Appeals Bill. A bill originating from the Senate is part of the bill that will be considered at the division stage. This means that a debate on these particular bills were concluded. And also the Environment Laws Amendment Bill, a bill also originating from the Senate, will also be considered at the division stage. Another bill that is lined up for consideration at the division is the County Civic Education Bill, the Heritage and Museums Bill, the County Library Services Bill. These are 5 bills that the senators this afternoon, once they embark on these bills, will be considering them on the division stage for them to be able to proceed to the third reading and the final stage. The House is about to commence its business. The Speaker, of course, as we can see, and a few members consulting on a number of issues, of course, regarding various businesses of the Senate. However, once everything is set, then the House will commence its business. Remember, the quorum bell or rather the 10-minute quorum bell has now lapsed, but from the screens that are showing us the inside of the chamber is that we can see that at least members have may have raised that quorum. We may have at least the 15 senators. So once that consultation that we can see taking place between the Speaker and various members of the Senate, once that consultation is over, then of course the business will commence. Various motions also lined up for consideration. The report of the Mediation Committee on the Conflict of Interest Bill. This is a bill that is originating from the National Assembly. And this is a motion that will seek the House to adopt the report of the Mediation Committee. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast. The Speaker has put his mic on. He's about to It's about, of course, to address or start the business of the House. So I will hand this particular proceeding over to you. Good afternoon.
Clerk, you may proceed to call the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Now, honorable senators, I have a communication to make relating to the admission of Senator Gloria Oroba MP back into the Senate following the conclusion of our suspension. As honorable senators will recall, on the 12th of February 2025, I issued a communication on the implementation of the resolution of the Senate to adopt the report of the Committee of Powers and Privileges on the conduct of Senator Gloria Oroba MP made on the 20th of September 2023. Now, honorable senators will also recall that subsequent to the Senate resolution, Senator Gloria Oroba MP filed petition number E283 of 2023 and a judicial review application E008 of 2023, which sought to quash the recommendations of the Committee of Powers and Privileges and the resolution of the Senate made on the 20th of September 2023. Honorable senators will also note that on the 28th of September 2023, the High Court at Machakos issued orders whose effect was to suspend implementation of the resolution of the Senate on the conduct of Senator Gloria Oroba MP, pending the hearing and determination of the matter. The High Court petition and judicial review application was subsequently merged by the court, had and determined on the 15th of January 2025. In the judgment, the court dismissed the petition and the judicial review application. The import of this was that the court ordered staying the resolution of the Senate on the report of the Committee on Powers and Privileges, as well as any other consequential orders in the matter that had been filed by the senator lapsed. Now, honorable senators, consequently, in the communication issued on the 12th of February 2025, and in accordance with section 15(7), as read together with paragraph 4 of the third schedule to the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, I proceeded to enforce the resolution of the Senate on the report of the Committee on Powers and Privileges. In the communication, I informed the Senate that the 79 calendar day suspension that ought to be applied in the year 2023 will run from Wednesday 12th of February 2025 to Thursday 1st of May 2025. In light of this directive, Senator Gloria Oroba MP commenced her suspension as resolved by the Senate on the 20th of September 2023. However, honorable senators will recall that on the 26th of February 2025, the Senate varied its resolution on the report of the committee. Senator Abbas, be attentive, please. The Senate varied its resolution on the report of the Committee on Powers and Privileges on account of Senator Oroba. The effect of the variation was such that the suspension of the senator was reduced from 79 calendar days to 30 calendar days. Accordingly, the 30 calendar day suspension commenced on the 12th of February 2025 and concluded on the 13th of March 2025. Now, honorable senators, in accordance with the resolutions passed on the 20th of September 2023 and on the 26th of February 2025, Senator Gloria Oroba is required to tender an apology to the Senate, honorable senators, the clerk of the Senate, and the Secretariat of Parliament before being admitted to the Senate. I now invite Senator Gloria Oroba MP to tender an apology in the manner prescribed in the report of the Committee of Powers and Privileges and as adopted by the Senate. Senator Oroba is required to read the prescribed apology verbatim, without an addition, omission, or amendment. Additionally, the apology shall not be followed by any comment by the senator or another senator. Senator Gloria, you may now proceed to to tender your apology as you stand at the bar. The other honorable senators may walk in and take their seats.
Mr. Speaker, I, Senator Gloria Oroba, hereby tender my unreserved apology to this Senate. I undertake that I shall abide by the responsibilities of leadership as set out in the Constitution, the Leadership and Integrity Act 2012, and the Parliamentary Powers and Privilege Act 2017. I therefore beseech to be admitted to the chamber. I thank you.
Now, have a seat, Gloria, Senator Gloria. That is not the apology as prescribed by the Senate in the report. Now, let me help you. The Senate sitting on the 20th of September 2023, while considering the report by the Powers and Privileges Committee, passed certain recommendations. One of those recommendations, I believe it was recommendation number 3. It read as follows. On resumption of the Senate sitting for the third session, the Senator, while at the bar, apologizes to the Senate, honorable senators, the Clerk of the Senate, and the Secretariat of Parliament before being admitted to the Senate pursuant to Section 17(3)(c) of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act 2017 in the following manner. So the Senate actually came up with the wording of the apology. It is not open to you to craft or word your own apology. The plenary worded the kind of apology that you're supposed to tender, and it goes as follows. That I, Senator Gloria Oroba, hereby, under my unreserved apology, tender my unreserved apology to the Senate, honorable senators, Clerk of the Senate, and the Secretariat of Parliament for having acted in a manner which pursuant to Section 16E and paragraph 7 and 8 of the 4th schedule to the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act 2017 constituted a breach of parliamentary privilege, and that reflected adversely on the dignity and integrity of Parliament and its members, and was contrary to the best interests of Parliament and its members. I undertake that I shall abide by the responsibilities of leadership as set out in the Constitution, the Leadership and Integrity Act 2012, and the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act 2017. I therefore beseech to be admitted to the chamber. I thank you. This is the prescribed apology as adopted by the plenary. It cannot be amended. It is only Senate sitting a plenary that can amend the wording. And therefore, Senator Oroba, proceed to read the apology as prescribed by the plenary and by this Senate.
Mr. Speaker, I have apologized before, and I have no problem reading a prescribed apology, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just want to draw to your attention that we currently have a court case that is ongoing, Mr. Speaker. And I have been advised, Mr. Speaker, that the prescribed apology in the wording that it has been put, Mr. Speaker, I've been advised that it is self-incriminating and it undermines my right to a fair process with the current court proceeding that is there. Mr. Speaker, I have no problem apologizing to the House. I've apologized to the House. I continue to say that I apologize for my conduct. I continue to seek to my colleagues that I am sorry on the ways that I offended them. I have no issues apologizing. Even now I am apologizing, Mr. Speaker. And I brought this to your attention prior to this sitting, that there is a sentence there that actually is self-incrimination and that can be used against me in an ongoing court process. And because of this, Mr. Speaker, I had kindly requested to give the apology as I have read it, and even to further tell my colleagues and to this House that I continue to be sorry for the conduct that they perceived to be unbecoming. Mr. Speaker, I don't know how else to appeal, because as I stand here, Mr. Speaker, I have sat out my suspension without pay. I have suffered the consequences of reporting issues, Mr. Speaker, and I continue to suffer those consequences. And I'm okay with that. However, Mr. Speaker, I really don't understand in whose interest it is for a prescribed apology with a self-incriminating sentence that actually puts me in an issue. So, Mr. Speaker, I appeal to my colleagues and to this House. I am sorry. I don't know how else to say I am sorry. I have said I'm sorry before. Now, I am saying I'm sorry again, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Gloria, you cannot raise a point of order. The senator is not properly admitted to the House. So you cannot raise a point of order against her. Now, Senator Gloria, let me help you. It is not up to the Speaker or the Chair to vary the apology. The apology was prescribed by the Senate sitting at a plenary. It is only the plenary sitting again to reopen this matter and amend that particular apology. As it stands, it must be read as contained in the report. So you either read this apology as prescribed, or you go think about it and come back at any day, any time that you'll be willing to read it as is prescribed. There is no two-way about it, because by allowing the apology that you've read out, and basically usurping the powers of plenary by amending a report that was passed and adopted by this Senate. I do not have those powers.
I stand guided, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
I will, I have, as I've said, I have no problem reading it. But I have been advised, Mr. Speaker, and I'm not a legal expert, and I have an ongoing court case, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Gloria.
So
it's
I don't know
simple.
what else is required from me, Mr. Speaker.
The chair is speaking, Senator Gloria. You know our standing orders. I have told you that there's only two ways. There are only two ways. You either read as prescribed, walk in and take your seat, or you don't read as prescribed and you walk out until such a time that you'll be ready to read the oath as prescribed. Which way do you want to go?
Mr. Speaker, having had your advice and noting that by reading this apology, I will be incriminating myself, noting that this is attached to my work, I find that very unfair. Mr. Speaker, I stand by my dignity and I stand by where I am, and I have no option. Where you have left me, I have no option but to walk away from my duties, because I cannot read an incriminating statement on a matter that has not been investigated. And Mr. Speaker, as it stands, I want to say that this being the last statement that I make, I continue to stand by my statements, and I want to say that it is truly unfair that an incriminating statement is being put in an apology so that I can tie myself down to something that has not been investigated, not by Parliamentary Service Commission, not by this House, not by an independent one. So therefore, Mr. Speaker, I have no option but to actually walk away from chambers as you have directed, Mr. Speaker. And having said that, I would also want to inform this House that it is happening to me now, but it is going to happen to you in the future, because I am not fighting anyone. I am actually saying I reported a case, it has not been investigated, and the powers that be are actually influencing a process so that I can incriminate myself and therefore perjure myself in a court case that is ongoing. I find this very unfair, and this being the upper house, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I'm disappointed, and I want to say that I am not going to trade a salary for something that has not been investigated. I can stay without the salary, I can stay without the position, Mr. Speaker, and I still continue to say it is unfair that someone who has reported a matter is being taken through this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order, clerk.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
The Senate Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of this Senate today, the 18th of March 2025, being 1, the Social Health Insurance Amendment Regulations, LECO Notice number 55 of 2025, 2, the Social Health Insurance Tariffs for Health Services, Regulations, Legal Notice number 56 of 2025, and finally, report of the Office of the Control of Budget on the National Government Budget Implementation Review for the first 6 months of the financial year 2024-2025. I thank you.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Statements pursuant to Standing Order 53-1. The Honorable Senator for Machakos County, Senator Kavindu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to be able to read the statements. I have 2. One statement, request for an operation of the Social Health Authority, SHA, conducted by private individuals. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Committee on Health regarding the operations of Social Authority, Health Authority, SHA, being conducted by private individuals. In the statement, the committee should, 1, explain the reasons why Kenyans' health data is being held in private individuals and whether the tendering process of the Health Care Insurance Fund dignitization system under the Social Health Authority SHA was transparently conducted, disclosing details of the award of the contract, the number of bids received, and criteria used in selecting the consortium awarded and costs of the award. 2, state the reasons for the non-disclosure of the control charges fees of 2.5% on members' contributions, claims on health facilities of 5%, and track and trace solutions at the rate of 1.5% for the period of 10 years with a projected revenue to the consortium of Kenya shillings 111 billion. The highlight why the contract signed between the government and the consortium bars the government on any other person from employing alternative systems. B, the details of the signatories of the account and the contract agreement, explaining why is transfers monies, transfers of funds. Mr. Speaker, I can't concentrate on my, because of this meeting here.
Senators, may the good senator be heard in silence.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll repeat A and B. of the control charges of 2.5 on members' contributions, claim on health facilities of 5%, and track and trace solutions at a rate of 1.5% for a period of 10 years, with the projected revenue of the consortium of 111 billion, and highlight why the contract signed between the government and the consortium bars the government or any other person from employing alternative system. B, of the details of the signatories of the account in the contract agreement, explaining why there is transfer of funds to the escrow account on a daily, weekly basis. C, in the contract agreement of the Kenya shillings 7 billion set aside for training, support, and customer education. The number of health workers to be trained on the system and mode of training that led to arriving at the said cost. 3, explain why the contract signed requires that dispute arising be resolved by arbitration under the rules of the London Court of International Arbitration, contrary to the provisions of Public Procurement Administrative Reviews Board, PPARB, and the Public Procurement and Disposal Act. And 4, provide reasons for the non-accessibility by the Controller of Budget to the Social Health Authority SHA funds and its operations outside the consolidated fund. Senator Agnes Kavindu Mudhama, Senator Machakos County. I have another statement, Mr. Speaker, so I'll read. The statement request on statement on lack of prioritization and wastage of public resources in Machakos County. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee of Finance and Budget regarding the lack of prioritization and wastage of public resources in Machakos County. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Office of the Controller of Budget, in the report on the county government's budget implementation, reviews for the first half of the financial year 2024-2025 reported a disturbing and disputant expenditure of the whole Kenya shillings 372.91 million in domestic and foreign travels by the Machakos County government officials. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, provide details on all domestic foreign travels projected and undertaken by the Machakos County government officials for the financial year 2022-2023 and 2023-2024 and 2024-2025, the criteria used in prioritizing the travels, budgetary allocation, and the costs benefits analysis for each of the travels. 2, explain whether there was transparency and accountability in the budgetary allocation and expenditure in accordance with the principles of public finance management. 3, state the mechanism in place for monitor and report on instances of wastage or misuse of public resources and the channels available for the criticism of report concerns about spending of government resources by public officers. 4, clarify whether investigations have been conducted and to identify instances of financial mismanagement of misuse of public resources within the Department of Machakos County and the remedial measures in place. And 5, explain the various strategies the county government of Machakos has put in place to enhance oversight mechanism and strengthen institutional capacity to safeguard public funds and resources. Senator Agnes Kavindu Mudhama, Senator Machakos County. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mohammed Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. If you'll allow me, I have 3 statements to read. My first statement is on ongoing livestock vaccination program in the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries regarding the ongoing livestock vaccination program in the country. In the statement, the committee should, 1, inform the Senate on the specific diseases that the current livestock vaccination program is targeting for prevention and control, giving details on when the livestock vaccination program was officially launched, including the program's objective and the expected outcome. Number 2, provide details on whether the vaccine is locally manufactured or imported, including the manufacturing capacity or the quality to be imported. Number 3, furnish the Senate with details on the funding for the vaccination program, particularly where the funds are sourced from and whether they are included in the current national budget or whether additional allocations have been made for the program. And finally, 4, submit a timeline outlining how long it will take to vaccinate the 22 million head of cattle earmarked for the program and the measures in place to ensure the timely completion of this process. Second statement is on foreign nationals working in Kenya informal business sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations regarding foreign nationals working in Kenya informal business sector. Mr. Speaker, sir, there is an increase in the number of foreign nationals working in Kenya informally. These individuals are engaged in activities such as barbering, salon work, hawking, and other small-scale enterprises, raising concern about their legal status and the impact on employment opportunities for the locals. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, explain the sudden proliferation of foreign nationals engaging in informal business activities in Kenya, and whether these aliens, this aligns with existing labor and immigration policies. Number 2, provide official data on the number of foreign nationals working in the informal sector, specifying whether they have valid work permits and if proper immigration procedures were followed before they started their businesses. Number 3, establish whether all these individuals are legally residing in Kenya, and outline the government's measures to address cases of illegal stay and undocumented workers in the informal business sector. And finally, number 4, explain any steps the government is taking to regulate and monitor this category of foreign workers to ensure they comply with the licensing, taxation, and labor laws, and clarify any measures in place to protect job opportunities for Kenyan citizens in the informal business sector. My final statement, Honorable Speaker. This is a construction on Korongo Road in Karen, Nairobi County. So, Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 531 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing regarding the construction of Korongo Road in Karen. Mr. Speaker, sir, Korongo Road, which spans about 1.1 kilometers, remains incomplete despite ongoing construction efforts. Although stones have been laid, the road, which falls under the jurisdiction of the Kenya Urban Roads Authority, remains unfinished, raising concern among residents on accessibility and infrastructure development in the area. In the statement, the committee should, 1, state the commencement date for the construction works on Korongo Road in Karen, and provide an update on its completion status, including challenges encountered, reason for delays, and whether the construction is classified as an emergency repair project under the framework contract for emergency roads repair management. Number 2, outline plans by the State Department of Roads for upgrading the road to bitumen standards, specifying whether the project has been advertised for repair, if a tender has been awarded, and provide details of the contractor undertaking the works. Number 3, provide the total cost of project, including a breakdown of projected expenses and sources of funding allocated for its completion. And finally, number 4, state the completion timeline for the project, ensuring transparency in project scheduling and accountability for any delays. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Professor Tom Agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have 3 statements. The first statement is on the revitalization of the port of Kisumu. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 531 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing regarding the current state, operational challenges and future plans for the revitalization of the port of Kisumu. Mr. Speaker, despite efforts to revamp the port of Kisumu, the facility continues to operate at a fraction of its capacity, significantly limiting its contribution to regional trade and economic growth. The deterioration of the rail connection from Mombasa to Kisumu has led to a steep decline in transit cargo volumes over the past decades. While the port still handles some local and specific transit cargo, overall volumes have dwindled due to a lack of critical mass, inefficient transport infrastructure, and unreliable connectivity. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, Lake Victoria ports have roll-on, roll-off ramps, and all break bulk cargo is handled manually, further slowing operation. In the statement, Mr. Speaker, the committee should address 1, provide an update on the Port of Kisumu's current operational capacity, including the annual cargo throughput, transit cargo volumes, and the utilization of available infrastructure. 2, explain the measures being taken to restore and modernize the rail connection between Mombasa and Kisumu to enhance cargo transportation and revive trade efficiency, and clarify whether there are plans to invest in alternative transport systems, including road, rail, and lake transport connectivity, to make Kisumu a competitive logistic hub. 3, outline the government's strategic plan to upgrade the port's infrastructure, including cargo handling facilities, automation, and integration of modern logistic relations. 4, state the government's long-term vision for leveraging Kisumu Port as a major trade gateway for the East African community and the African continental free trade area after markets. And lastly, explain the steps being taken at both the national and county government levels to attract private sector investment and regional partnerships to support port operations and improve efficiency. Mr. Speaker, my second statement is on the transfer of core county functions by the county government of Kisumu to the city of Kisumu. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations regarding the transfer of core county functions by the county government of Kisumu to the city of Kisumu, as published by the county government in the Standard newspaper of 20th January 2025. Mr. Speaker, the transfer of specified functions raises grave constitutional and governance concerns, since there is no legal provision that allows a county government to transfer its functions to a municipality or city. The law only provides for delegation of such functions. The transfer of the functions also negatively impacts service delivery to other areas of Kisumu County outside Kisumu City and potentially marginalizes these areas in the development agenda. In the statement, Mr. Speaker, the committee should address the following: the legal basis for the transfer of core county functions by the county government of Kisumu to the city of Kisumu, as published by the county government in the Standard newspaper of 20th January 2025. 2, rationalize the transfer of functions, also stating whether public participation was conducted in accordance with Articles 10 and 174 of the Constitution. 3, the implications of the transfer of function, including its effects on, Mr. Speaker, A, operations of the county government in view of the fact that its key functions have been transferred. B, equitable development of both Kisumu City and other urban and rural areas within the Kisumu County. C, revenue collections among county functions. And D, financial oversight, particularly how the Senate ensures transparency and accountability in the management of public resources allocated for the transferred functions. The fate of county staff previously engaged in undertaking the transferred functions, stating the measures that have been taken by being put in place to safeguard their livelihoods. Mr. Speaker, the last statement is on the state of rice farming in Kisumu County. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries regarding the state of rice farming in Kisumu County and the interventions by the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, and the Government of Kenya, GOK, to support the sector. In the statement, the committee should, 1, provide a status update on the progress of the Ahero Irrigation Scheme Rehabilitation Project, detailing the scope of works, project timelines, and the utilization of the Kenya shillings 3 billion funding from JICA. 2, outline the objectives and achievements and challenges of the rice-based and market-oriented agriculture promotion project in Kisumu County, explaining the measures in place to address key issues affecting rice farmers, such as post-harvest losses, limited market access, and vulnerability to climate-related disasters like floods, while also highlighting any interventions aimed at improving productivity and resilience. 3, state the current rice production levels in Kisumu County, including the average yield per acre and the number of farmers benefiting from JICA and the Government of Kenya interventions, and provide details on any planned initiatives by JICA and GOK to further improve rice farming, enhance food security, and ensure long-term sustainability in the sector. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, indicate the initiatives undertaken by the government of Kenya, of the county government of Kisumu, to expand and modernize the Ahero and Rai irrigation schemes, to increase rice production, providing details on planned infrastructure improvements, technological advancements, and timelines for implementation to ensure enhanced efficiency and productivity in rice farming. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Senators, before I allow comments on the requested statements, allow me to make the following communication. I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon, visiting students and teachers from Elite Friends Boys School, Kajiado County. The delegation comprises of 33 students and 3 teachers who are undertaking a study tour to the Senate. On behalf of the Senate, on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them all the very best during their visit. Again, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon of visiting students and teachers from Chiboney Girls High School, Bomet County. The delegation comprises of 97 students and 6 teachers who are undertaking a study tour to the Senate. On behalf of the Senate, on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them the very best during their visit. I will allow the Senator for Kajiado County to extend a word of welcome to the delegation from Kajiado County, and also the Majority Whip to extend a word of welcome to the delegation from Bomet County, each to take not more than a minute.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, but I don't know, I've not really got the school. Which school is this? Honorable Speaker. Okay, thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity also to join you, Honorable Speaker, to congratulate and thank the school, the students, and the teachers from Kajiado. This is Senator Seki, Senator for Kajiado. I really want to appreciate you and thank you for finding time to be here today to join us together as Senate and as Parliament to learn more about Parliament, particularly the Senate, now that we are still on. The other House of National Assembly are on recess. And I want to thank you so much and welcome you to the Senate as you continue to learn. I want to thank you so much, and as you go back home, you greet the parents and the teachers and the rest of the students, because I know you'll really learn a lot from the debate and what we have been talking all along, especially when you've now learned from the first message of the Speaker as he's opened this House. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I welcome the young people to this House that I hope they will have an opportunity to serve in the coming days, let me celebrate with them the rich leadership that has traditionally come from Bomet. I remember when we started devolution in 2013, the governor of Bomet, His Excellency Isaac Ruto, became the first chairman of the Council of Governors, and he did a great job. I'm saying all these good things on behalf of your Senator, Senator Hilary Sikei. You're most welcome.
Now, Honorable Deputy Speaker, you know better that you cannot raise on a point of order. Yes, then you can only seek intervention. You may proceed. You may proceed.
Honorable Speaker, we are very busy in this House this afternoon, and the working environment is not conducive, Mr. Speaker, because of the music playing outside by maybe people who have come to bring their petitions or who want to be heard by the parliament. So, Mr. Speaker, in honor, Mr. Speaker, they can submit their maybe petition silently without the music that they have bring, Mr. Speaker, so that also we can do some work. And is it intentional music that they are playing, Mr. Speaker, or maybe if you can do the sergeant of terms, they can be asked to submit their petition silently to the clerk's office, and then they will be handed, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, indeed that singing and petitioning has been ongoing for the last maybe 5 hours. Because when we sat as a panel, that music was still on. When we sat at the Senate Business Committee, that music was still on. It is still on. Now, whatever is the grievance, I think the leadership should be able to go listen to them, pick whatever memorandum that is to be picked, and thereafter ask them to retreat as Parliament looks into their grievances. I think thereafter is when we can invoke the powers of the sergeant at arms to disperse them. I think it's good to give them an ear before we tell them to disperse. So in this regard, allow me to nominate 2 of our senators to go engage them and come back to report to the House. Otherwise, we will not be able to transact any business in this House. The noise out there is certainly disruptive of the proceedings, but again, we cannot just wish it away. The only thing we can do is to give the petitioners an ear and then ask them to kindly retreat as we look into their grievances. I will nominate Senator Boni Halwale, the Minority Whip, Senator Sifuna, and the Deputy Speaker, the 3 of you, to proceed to give them an ear, report to the House, see if we can find some peace. Yes, seek your clarification.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I had the opportunity of last week to discharge the duties that you are giving me now. And Mr. Speaker, it must be understood that those are workers of the universal health care who happen to share the same professional background with me, albeit at different levels. It would look a bit dishonest that having promised them action last week, I go back to do the same. Unless, Mr. Speaker, you are asking me to go and request them to go and play the Kasongo song at the State House. If they are looking for the president who they call Kasongo, he's not in the Senate. He's at State House, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a matter...
So are you disqualifying
I beg that I be disqualified.
So the Deputy Speaker and the Senator for Nairobi, just go give an ear to these wonderful Kenyans and ask them kindly to retreat as we look into their grievances. So we proceed to the comments on the statements that have been requested. Senator Beatrice Akinyi.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you for granting me the opportunity to comment on the statements, and I want to add my voice to the comment by the Senator for Kisumu on the transfer of core county functions by the county government of Kisumu to the city of Kisumu. Honorable Speaker, the county government, the Urban Areas and Cities Act envisaged a situation where urban areas would be classified into either a city, a municipality, a town, or a market, Honorable Speaker. And I've seen the concerns raised by Senator Odinga on transferring these functions. But, Honorable Speaker, the spirit of that, the Urban Areas and Cities Act, required that the urban areas would run with efficiency and effectiveness, have a business-like running, and the urban areas would be able to sustain themselves, Honorable Speaker. The urban areas management would only ensure that this happens if they are performing certain functions, Honorable Speaker. Some of these functions are not limited to urban-specific services like provision of water, management of fire stations in the towns, the management of sewerage systems to be specifically manage both waste, liquid and solid waste services, Honorable Speaker. The municipalities and cities should be able to ensure that the urban areas have street lights, the urban areas are able to build access roads within the cities. And Honorable Speaker, this can only be possible if they are managing certain budgets that are consistent with those services, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I do not know to what extent these services have been transferred, but Honorable Speaker, the cities or the urban areas have even a management system where they have boards that are running these cities, and those boards are structured in a way in which they have a chair, they have board members, they have a CEO that is running the city, referred to as the city manager. Honorable Speaker, it means that these boards have to run a system. They have to run services within the cities. Honorable Speaker, this would ensure that the cities are managed well, that they are able to service the city dwellers as consistent with their establishment. And so, Honorable Speaker, they have to run budgets that are allocated to them as a different sector within the county government allocations, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it means then that they must have functions which they are performing as boards, for which they are established and for which the people within the cities and the urban dwellers have expectations, Honorable Speaker. I therefore support the fact that they must have functions, they must have budgets to run these functions, and the cities and all the urban areas must run efficiently and effectively. I therefore want to say, Honorable Speaker, that there must be services that this city, the city management is performing. I only need to understand that in which way did they maybe transfer these functions and procedurally. But Honorable Speaker, just as other services are devolved, and just as the counties have devolved structures like the sub-county and the ward structure, the cities also have their structures within which they have to operate. Honorable Speaker, the cities must operate in a way in which the services are efficiently and effectively delivered to the city dwellers, and so it means that those services, even though they might not have been transferred in a way that is consistent with the senator, Honorable Speaker, the city structures must have functions they are performing that ensures they have a budget, and they also have personnel that perform these services, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that I support the transfer of the services if there are services that have been transferred within the law, because how else would the services be done if they do not have them? Honorable Speaker, that is my comment. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Mungatana.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa nafasi hii. Na mimi nitoe maoni kuhusu chanjo za mifugo. Sisi watu wa Tana River, Bwana Spika, tumekuwa na wasiwasi kwa sababu tangu chanjo hizo zilipotangazwa na serikali kuu kumeingia mushkil. Wengine wanasema ziko na shida, wengine wanasema ziko sawa. Tungependa kamati waangalie na waseme kwa kikamilifu ya kwamba hizi chanjo ni safi na zitatusaidia na sisi pamoja na mifugo wetu. Pili, wakiwa wanaangalia swala hili pia tueleze ni pesa ngapi ambazo zinatumika kwa program hii ya serikali, na je, hii pesa ni serikali ya Kenya, government of Kenya, ama ni pesa ambayo inatoka kwa wafadhili ama donors. Ya tatu na ya mwisho, wakiwa wanaangalia hili swala la chanjo, je, ni budget ya pesa ngapi ambayo county ya Tana River nao wameweka kwa ajili ya kuchanja mifugo wetu wakati huu, haswa wakati huu ambao inaenda msimu wa mvua. Bwana Spika, ningependa sana kamati waangalie ili tujue ukweli wa haya mambo. Watu wanataka kujua, Bwana Spika, ukweli kabisa, na ikiwezekana kamati waongeleshe wanasayansi wanaohusika na mambo haya, kwa sababu kuna siasa ambayo imeingizwa na wale ambao wanahusika na mambo ya mifugo wengine wameingia wasiwasi. Asante sana Bwana Spika.
Senator Chimera.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity to make my brief comments on the statement as sought by Senator Professor Tom Ojienda on the transfer of core functions to our cities. Mr. Speaker, there is a saying that says